Hey there, and welcome back to Reading Rule, y'all. Welcome back to the video series on Sadie by Courtney Summers. If you haven't checked out the previous two videos in this series, I recommend that you do so. This week, I'll be giving my personal reaction to Sadie and outlining what I did and or didn't like about this text. To start with, I'm kind of a true crime junkie. I'm one of those, and that's exactly what this book felt like to me, especially in the way that it's crafted as sort of part podcast. It made me think of all of the awesome true crime podcasts out there that I've listened to. And really, to be honest, there wasn't anything I didn't like about this book. Some folks don't like darker, sad stories, but personally, those are the stories that I tend to gravitate toward. Sad songs, sad stories, they're sort of a go-to for me because they demonstrate the resilience of the human spirit and the way that we can sort of get knocked down and get back up and keep going even though things are tough. And so because of that, they feel really important to me, and I just am really drawn to them. So I liked that aspect of this book. Aside from that, I also really enjoyed the structure, the characterization, the movement of the setting, and the way that Courtney Summers writes. For the structure, I really loved the way that this text oscillates between the perspectives of Sadie and sort of Wes McCrae in the way that he's doing the podcast. It leaves the reader trying to piece together what's missing across the information gathered from everyone involved, which really highlights the mystery aspect of this book. It also really highlights, as my mama always says, that there are three sides to every story: what one side says happened, what the other side says, and then what really happened. The suspense this creates makes this a really super engaging read, and definitely a page turner. The characterization in this text, sort of like Jeff Zetner's characterization, I just really appreciated that the folks in this book are complex, that they're not stereotypes, that they're nuanced and not flat, you know? The temptation, I think, would be to make them simple, to reduce Wes McCrae to this oversimplified city slicker stereotype who thinks he's more cosmopolitan and worldly than the other characters in the book. It would be easy to make and reduce Sadie to a stereotype of a rural person who's backward and ignorant, but that's not at all what happens here. Courtney Summers does an excellent job of crafting these really complicated people, and I really, really appreciated that. Together, the perspectives of Wes McCrae and Sadie, as I talked in my last video, offer really important opportunities to explore place and the stories that we tell about them and the way that we think about them. So if you're interested in more about that and you didn't watch the last video, I suggest that you watch that one for more information on that. Also, another really important aspect of this book is that Sadie has a stutter. But despite that stutter, and maybe because of it, Sadie is a strong and really intimidating presence rather than being positioned as weak because she has what some folks would classify as a disability. It really works to add to her complexity and her just the power and agency that she exudes in the text. And so I thought that was really important about this book. Overall, I just really appreciated Summers' refusal to oversimplify and make anything too easy to nail down. It brought the story more depth and made it welcoming of critical reading and analysis, which I think is really important. The third thing that I really appreciated was the movement of setting, which I talked more about in the last video. The way the action of the text through Sadie moves across rural and urban settings makes it really interesting for examining how money shapes people's experiences in place and how those places shape who they are and how they act. Hearing Sadie's scathing critiques of both the rural and non-rural places provide really great opportunities for readers to think about stereotypes of places and connect those to how they experience life in their own places. And then the fourth thing is the writing. I loved Summer's writing style. It's strong and mesmerizing from sentence level structure to plot level structure. The writing is just in your face all the time in all the best ways possible. Like the person who recommended this to me, I too was destroyed in a really, really good way by this book. And I think I'm still reckoning with some of the twists and the ending. No spoilers here, I promise. And also the way that it discusses and thinks about love and what that looks like and what it means for our lives. If, like me, you or your students enjoy the true crime genre, podcasts, and or a story that refuses to make things simple, then this book is definitely one for you, and I highly recommend that you pick it up. If you're interested in learning more about or finding support for teaching rural YA literature like Sadie, please check out my website, Literacy in Place. There's a link in the description below, and there's also a link in the channel's description. But I appreciate y'all stopping by. Come on back now, would you?